Welcome to the video series, How to Build Your Food Truck with me, Frank Baltier's, and we're right back into the grind of building the food truck. We had a couple, I would say months, where the weather was like on and off, cold, a little warm, cold, a little warm, more cold. And now it's a perfect day to be able to work out here. So I am kind of all over the place on little miscellaneous things that I need to complete on this food truck, but I will be updating you on each and every one. So this video is kind of like scattered around, but at the end, it's all for the same goal, which is to finish up the food truck. I am working on some of these outlets right up here. There's gonna be for the water pump. I put this one in, which is a switched outlet for the water pump, and also an outlet for the carbon monoxide detector, because you don't wanna die in here from some unsmellable, as they call it, unsmellable gas. That's a killer. So we want to be able to have that in our food truck. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And where are my needle nose pliers? I am working on this outlet right here. It is going to be almost like a dual side. One's going to be a switch outlet for the water pump. The other one is going to be for my propane leak detector alarm. And just a little bonus, how you make an outlet to do two things at the same device. It has a little tab on here. If you guys can see, it's a little tab. Take your needle nose, and then you just kind of twist it around. And ultimately, you want to break off that gold piece that's right in there. If you can see, now this outlet can serve two different purposes. A little hack there in case you didn't know. Just know that this is just if you want to use your outlet for two different purposes. A lot of builders and houses use this to not install fans or lights in your house, because they make this a switched outlet, which technically serves as a light source for the room. You can plug in a lamp. That's what they used to use back in the days. They still kind of use it now every now and then. So this can be a switched outlet. This will be a regular outlet. A little hack that maybe you didn't know. But that's how you make this, and that's how we're going to use it here. Again, Frank Baltier is on how to build your food truck. Everything from A to Z. From bare bone, actually I don't build a trailer, so that's not counting. Everything inside of a trailer, I show you how you can do it. Again, thank you for subscribing. Comment on this video any questions that you have, and I'll reach out and comment, reply back on each and every one myself. But let's get right to it, because when I record, it's like I don't make any production. So I'm trying to do both at the same time, but I do need to move along and do a lot today. So let's get right to it. Today, I had almost like an off day on my electrical business, which is phenomenal, to be honest, because it's such a beautiful day outside. I can actually work on the trailer and get a lot done. I'm going to be putting some outlets over here. This one's going to be a switched outlet. A switch for the outlet right here, which that's going to be for the water pump. There's going to be another outlet right next to it, which will have constant power. And I'm going to use that for my carbon monoxide alarm, a 120 plug-in carbon monoxide alarm right there. And then down here is going to be the outlet for the water pump and a propane leak detector that gets plugged in as well, 120 power. Right here, I'm going to put all these FRP panels today. And then I'm going to move over here. I did get this bad boy delivered, and I put it in yesterday. I didn't record that because my helping hand that I had decided that they don't want to get recorded, so I have to respect that. But I do have to extend this outlet right here. I'm actually going to have to put a piece of wire mold and then just bring it over to the right just a hair, because that's the plug. So it has to be right there, because health departments, fire departments do not allow extension cords inside a food truck or a restaurant. But that's not considered a extension cord, the black part of the machine, because that's connected to the actual fridge. This panel right here, I'll cover in detail later, maybe today or in another video, but I'm going to cover how I wired that up. That way you guys get a good, exact explanation on how I wired that up. But I'm just working on some of these things here. Just wanted to give you a quick, like a summary. I'm going to throw in some clips in there so you guys can see it. But I am working on this wall right here, get this done as much as I can today, because it is a great opportunity to get all this done. I have that front part done. The water tanks are right there sitting as well. Let's get to it. Let me record a couple things if I can. What I'm working on here are these little cosmetic pieces
towards the back of the hood. They don't serve any other purpose besides being cosmetic and protect a little bit from the heat and from the cooking equipment. I don't have a flat roof. If you have a flat roof, you might not have this issue with your build. But I'm cutting these out, taking out the protective film, the fun stuff. Let me tell you, this is like the most annoying part of the truck build. As I continue removing the protective film, the next part is over by the stainless steel. I do use a stainless steel NSF rated caulk that goes between the stainless steel and the floor. That way it gets a nice seal on there in case you want to wash the floors. You don't get any water into the floors or anything like that. So that's a must do. Moving right along, we have the water tanks. I picked these up from Class A Customs. On this particular build, the freshwater tank had to be 50% smaller than the gray water tank, which is your waste tank. So I had to order these a little bit different size than I typically do, but nevertheless, they still work perfectly underneath the 3 compartments.
Alrighty, so on here, I do have to add an extra wire. It's the thing about Romex, especially like 14.2. It is obviously the best, cheapest possible option to use because you use it a lot more in your trailer. But in a situation like this, so I'm going to make this a switched outlet. This one right here is going to have a regular outlet. This one's going to have a switch. However, this switch is going to work this outlet right here. But I need the other part to also have power all the time so I can use it for a separate outlet for a propane leak detector. So that puts me in a little tight situation because now I need to run a power wire. So I need to run one more because this only has one conductor and a neutral. So this is going to be my switch leg. This will be the neutral for the outlet. So you need both of those. So I have no more extra wire. So I need to run an extra on. So right now is the best option to do it because I can just fish a wire from there to there and then pull another one through, which I already have ready. But just know that sometimes you have to adapt and add more wire if necessary. And that's what happened in this situation. It's not a big deal. Not ideal, but it's not a big deal. So let me just run that. Just wanted to give you, like I said, that quick update on what I'm doing and how I solve a problem if one comes around, which would be this one. It's just one of those things that you just got to take care of right away. So this is something we do quite a bit when we're doing remodeling projects with our electrical contracting company. It's called just fishing wire. We do it a lot with recessed cans, TV outlets, you name it, anything that needs to be behind a wall, we do it. So you fish a wire through. It can be any one, it can just be a scrap wire, whatever. And then you get the wire that you actually need, tape it off, and then you're just literally gonna pull through. I tried to do it without a guide wire or a pulling wire, and it was not successful. So you just kind of do your due diligence, and you pull through, and look at that. And you have your extra wire. So one of them is going to be our power wire, one of them is going to be our switch leg. So now we're taken care of on both sides. That was my mistake for not noticing that originally. But as I said, good thing I saw that now, and not later when it was all complete, which eventually I would have probably noticed when I was trimming out the outlets and switches. But there you go. That's how we ran an extra wire right down an existing wall, and now I can put my outlets and switches on there.
Right here, we're just going to be using our utility knife, skinning these wires back on the Romex. Be careful not to stab it too much, right, and cut that wire and the insulation. You want to be careful with this. And then the next part here, I'm showing you once again how we cut this FRP. It's a little annoying, it's a little tedious, but it can be done with one person. It just takes a little bit longer. Your back might be cramping after you hunch over because it's not as hard of a material as stainless steel that I can set on a sawhorse and just cut it and leave it outside exposed to the elements. Stainless steel is a little bit more durable in that aspect, but it still works with FRP. You know, I've never tried it, in case you guys want to ask, construction adhesive, like the liquid nails construction adhesive, if it works just as good or better as this. So that's a question that I might ask myself, but it doesn't really matter anymore. I just put this this stuff that lays like mortar. I'm just going to finish up this little last piece, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about the electrical, help you guys out. And any questions, again, drop them in the comments.
All right, so let me explain a little bit of what I'm doing here on the electrical, because if I don't, I'm going to get comments and messages be like, hey, you skipped right over the electrical and how you wired up the outlets. So let me go over that and be as brief and concise as I can. So let me show you my 2 switches and my 2 outlets. They're already done, but I'm going to kind of explain to you what's going on here. But this is where you might get more confusion on it. If you guys see like this big rat nest, you guys probably look at it and be like, whoa, what the heck is that? So let me flip the camera over. Let me show you exactly how I did this. It's pretty easy. If you do these next steps, it'll be pretty easy for you. Alrighty, so I ran all my lines into this box, and then there's another one right over there. That's like the main power sources. So as long as you label everything correctly, it should be pretty easy. You got the power line right here. You have the outside lights. You have another one for the outside lights, because we do have 2 sets of outside lights, if you guys remember. We have this one right here, and then we have that far one right over there. Oh, where's my finger? That far one right over there, and that one as well feeds the rope lights. So those are my 2 switch legs for the outside lights that you see here. I have my can switch leg for the lightings inside, and my power, as I said, my 2 powers. This power runs up, over, and down right into here, and then from right here it goes up again, and then it goes all the way across to over there where my switched outlets are. So that's kind of that scenario. As you can see, how a switch works, it's pretty basic. It needs a switch leg, which would be right there, and it needs a power. It can be either one, it doesn't really matter on a single switch. A switch will always have constant power. That's what this is right here. If you guys can see power, a switch will always have power. It's until the point where you flick it like that it will feed this other one, which is called your switch leg, which goes up to your lights. It could be a switch, it could be an outlet, it could be anything. Sorry, it could be a switched outlet, a light. What else? It literally can be anything you want it to be. You can flick it with this switch here. Even your furnace has one of these in your house. All the neutrals here, which are the white wires, get connected together and they get wire nutted. They don't get connected to anything. A switch will never, ever have a neutral. It only has a power and it only has a switch leg on a switch. On an outlet, you do need the neutral, which is usually your longer one right here, and then the hot, which is always a shorter blade right there on a switch. So that's kind of how these are. These little bare ones, those are your grounds. We'll just kind of twist them up together, put a wire nut on it, and that's basically it. To be honest, that's how we wire these. If you label them correctly, as I stated, this has to be done for sure, because you'll get so confused if you don't. Make sure you label each and every one, and you'll know that if it says cans, it's a switch leg, outside lights is a switch leg, power is obviously your power, and the power that comes from here is your neutral, and then you need your neutrals to bundle up together, but do not connect them to the switch. Hopefully that helps you out there. I try to make it, as I said, really brief, so you guys can catch like the major details and don't get confused. That's the number one thing. Label everything correctly, especially on Romex. So we're done here. Whew, it feels like I'm all over the place today with this food truck, but I told you guys I was going to be. So right now what I have to do is I want to test out all the electrical that I have here before I finish up the walls. That way if I messed up for some reason, I don't think I did, but let's say I like nicked a wire back there and screwed it or something with the screw by accident. You never know what can happen. Then we want to make sure we catch that before all the walls are up. So because of that, I have to make my plug that I'm going to use. Let's say you park it at your house, at your commissary, wherever you park your food truck or your food trailer. You do not want to have your generator running 24/7. So you need what they call shore power. And to do that, what I'm going to use is this fancy spancy extension cord right here. This is just a regular extension cord. Make sure you do not have it plugged in to your power source. I repeat, make sure you do not have it plugged into your power source. Just a guy on YouTube talking about some tips on how to build a food truck. That's all I am. So I'm going to cut it right here. Make sure it's the cord that doesn't go to your house or to your commissary. This is the other end. The other end gets connected to an outlet, so you can cut this off. So we're just gonna chop that off. And this is a 50 amp Reliance plug that I use, and you can have it hooked up to this extension cord, you know, forever, as long as you want. So let me cut this really fast, and that way I can make this and actually test it out and see if we're in the same vicinity of what we need. I know for sure I don't need these little legs. I've made enough of these plugs where I know I don't need it. All right, so we're gonna take out, this is 120 power, so we're gonna take out the green, the white, and the black there. So we have the 3 ends right there. And here, you wanna make sure you put your little back end, the headpiece or whatnot, right there. So we're gonna stick that in. We have this one that I use X as my power. So if you haven't recalled from other videos, your plug can be used for 240. You have an X, a W, a Y, and a G. And you want to make sure that you get a good connection. These things are kind of skinny, so I might actually have to double it up like this. That way you can get enough of a grasp on here. Let me see. X is right here. Alrighty. Let me try that one more time. You got, there's different gauges also of extension cords. Come on, there it is. So there it is. You give it a good yank because you just want to make sure that you get a good connection on there. Same thing with the white. We're just going to skin it just a hair back. Twist the little furs there. Double it up. You just kind of twist that back. And then we're going to go to the W on the plug. And they're clearly marked on the back of the plug. If you buy the same one that I have here, I'll link it in the description. I bought it on Amazon. If you didn't, I really don't know how to help you because there's so many different options of plugs. I cannot keep up with all of them. And then we're going to do the same thing with the green. Twist it up, double it up, put that in there. And then we're going to tighten this bad boy up. And it should be good. Let's give it a yank, a yank. Oh, we'll bring this back up here. There's some little holes in here. Once you get it, you'll be able to see them. And then you just kind of insert it in. And then with this little 9-in-1 that I have here, we're going to get the smaller flat head right there. And then we're going to twist it on. Come on, baby. Where are you? There it is. Boom. All right. And now we just twist these down. And then we should be able to connect this to our house power. I haven't told you yet how I powered up the panel, how I wired up the panel to power it up. So that's something that I owe you guys because I think this video is going to be too long if I do that part. But I want to make sure that I show you exactly what I'm doing. This is a power that we're going to be using from a shore power that you can connect to a building. It'll be 120, just so you know. And it is running on an extension cord, just a regular extension cord that you can buy anywhere, Home Depot, Menards, Ace Hardware, whatever. You can just buy that right there. The length is up to you. Doesn't really matter, but that's how it is. And now we can actually connect it and see if these lights work, the outlets work, and finish up the walls, which is what I was working on all day today. So let's get back to it. All you do here is you lift up the Reliance plug cover. You slide this right in. This is one of my favorite 50 amp generator plugs. And then it has like these little balls on there that'll make it fit just one way. And then you twist it, boom, and locks in. That's all you do there. And now let's power it up.